What is it going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another video for you. Today, we are going to be breaking down the Pacific Division in the NBA. We are going to tell you which teams are making the playoffs, which teams will not make the playoffs, and which players you should keep an eye on for breakout years. Nick, why don't you start it off with which teams you do not believe will make the playoffs?
Yeah, in the Pacific Division, we have the Sacramento Kings. This is a team that kind of gets lost in this division because of all the other talent in on the other teams. And the Sacramento Kings, they're not a bad team, but they're not a great team. They're definitely not enough to make the playoffs this season. They're kind of another flux team that I've talked about in other videos where they're kind of still rebuilding. They're not fully there yet, and we still have a lot to see from them. But the Phoenix Suns are a huge team that needs to be considered as a playoff contender. They are going to be one of those 8 to 10 seeds in the Western Conference, and with the addition of Chris Paul is absolutely massive alongside Devin Booker, who was killing it last season. They went undefeated in the bubble. They were just barely out of the playoffs last season. I look for them to potentially make it in this season. Next in the division, I have the LA Clippers. They're definitely going to be making the playoffs, probably going to be a top 5 team in the West. I believe that the loss of Montrezl Harrell is going to be a little too much for them. Him going to the Lakers was a huge blow. Paul George, I don't believe that he is going to be able to keep up the steam he had from last season. I believe that he's going to teeter off and become one of those players that just doesn't find his rhythm. It's going to take him too long. Kawhi Leonard's going to have to carry the bulk of the offense. He's going to have to carry this team along the way, and I just don't know if he's going to be enough to be better than the Golden State Warriors or the Los Angeles Lakers. The Golden State Warriors, though, now that they have Steph Curry back, it's absolutely massive. You don't have Klay Thompson, but that's okay. Andrew Wiggins looked like he was getting pretty good last season. I believe now that he's going to be surrounded by Steph Curry, you add James Wiseman, who could be a potential play for them later down the stretch. This team is going to come back to form. Steve Kerr is going to get them back into that rhythm they used to be in, and this team is going to be back at the top where they're used to being. I believe that this team has all the tools necessary to be better than the Clippers and be a very viable team to make the finals this season. And finally, we have the Los Angeles Lakers. They are by far and away the best team in the NBA. They are stacked from head to toe. You added Dennis Schroeder, Marc Gasol, and Montrezl Harrell in the offseason. Absolutely massive pieces alongside LeBron and Anthony Davis. This team is a force to be reckoned with. As I've said before, they're on cloud 9 when everybody else is on cloud 1. No one is messing with this team. They are the team to beat, and I just don't see anybody doing that this season.
I was with you for a little bit and you lost me. So let's start off with where I was with you. The Sacramento Kings definitely have some more work to do. De'Aaron Fox is an incredible young point guard that can command their offense and their team really well. Buddy Hield is a lights out 3 and D scorer, one of the best shooters we have in the NBA today. Harrison Barnes is an overpaid player with some championship experience from his days in Golden State, but this is far, far, far from the Harrison Barnes that played under Steve Kerr in Golden State that the Sacramento Kings now have. Marvin Bagley has just not become the guy that they drafted early in the draft. He has not been the dominant big man that he was in college, and I think that he needs to get back to being more of a defensive force and broadening his range on the offensive side of the ball. I think Marvin Bagley can progress and continue to help these Kings, but this is not this is not the year where he takes that next step and actually can help lead them into playoff contention. I want to address this. You have the Golden State Warriors as your number 2 team in this division.
Yes, I
I
do.
have them as the second worst team in this division. Steph Curry
Wow.
is by far and away one of the best NBA players ever, right? What he can do shooting the basketball has never been done in the history of this planet. And I give him immense credit for what he can do. But he's coming off of a major injury, a year off of basketball. He's getting back into the swing of things. Andrew Wiggins is not the showstopper that everybody thought he would be when he was drafted by the Cavaliers. It seems like light years ago that he was drafted and then traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Kevin Love. That isn't the guy that's going to help them win. Kelly Oubre Jr. just ain't it. Draymond Green is a little washed up, in my opinion. He's not the same Draymond Green from their championship days. And James Wiseman, well, check out our James Wiseman video for my thoughts on who he is and how he's going to fit this offense. The Golden State Warriors are in a state of flux without Klay Thompson. I think he's the glue that kind of holds this all together. The loss of Klay Thompson is absolutely massive. That is the second splash brother, the guy that helps Steph Curry when he struggles. He is the guy that can be relied on for most of this offense. Andrew Wiggins is not that guy. Kelly Oubre is not that guy. The Golden State Warriors will struggle this year. This is going to be another tough road for them. Uh, After the Warriors, I have the Phoenix Suns, and I have them as a back end Western Conference playoff team. I have them somewhere in the 7, 8, 9 range. The Phoenix Suns, the addition of Chris Paul and Jay Crowder and Mikal Bridges, this team, Mikal Bridges wasn't an addition, but they retained him. Just so you people in the comments understand, I know what I'm talking about. Chris Paul is lights out, one of the best point guards I've ever seen in my lifetime. And you add him to Devin Booker, who is one of the best scorers we have in today's NBA. Mikal Bridges is a great role player. Him and Jay Crowder are going to be some of the best role 3-and-D players that they have on this team. And then the evolution of DeAndre Ayton for this Phoenix Suns team is going to help get them over the hump. I think he is going to be able to bang with some of those bigs that they have in the Western Conference, whether it's Yusuf Nurkic in Portland, or if it's Rudy Gobert in Utah, or if it's Nikola Jokic in Denver. Whoever it is, he's going to be able to bang with them. I think he's going to give them a presence of physicality that they are going to need, especially with the smaller lineup of Devin Booker and Chris Paul coming in. I think that the Phoenix Suns definitely have what it takes to make the back end of the playoffs and possibly make a Cinderella playoff run. Look for them to be one of those surprise teams moving forward. Then I have the Los Angeles Clippers as our second best team in this division. Patrick Beverly, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Marcus Morris, and Serge Ibaka. That is an insane starting five. They would, in any other division, they may end up being the leader for that division, but obviously they're crosstown rivals, if you will. The Lakers are still there, so they're going to have to contend with them. I don't see the regression that you see, Nick, in Paul George. I think he is going to be able to expound on what he was able to do in a Clipper uniform last year. I think the loss of Doc Rivers is going to be an interesting one to overcome. A lot of the role players didn't like Doc Rivers, so maybe they step it up a notch now that he's gone. Let's see how that takes, what that does to these role players, on top of maybe Paul George and Kawhi Leonard missing him and giving him some of the luxuries that were reportedly given to them as star players. So we'll definitely see. The loss of Montrezl sellout Harrell is absolutely massive, going to the Lakers. But you know what? They got to do what they got to do. The Clippers are coming back. They're coming for the throat of the Lakers. It's not going to be pretty, but they're going to be able to be a top 3 seed in the West. And then on top of that, obviously the best team in basketball, the Los Angeles Lakers, headed by that bad man LeBron James. He is their point forward, he is their leader, he is their guy. The addition of Dennis Schroeder to take over that Rajon Rondo role. Kentavious Caldwell Pope is coming in to help offset some of that scoring. Anthony Davis is the defensive stalwart that they need. Everything you need to know about Anthony Davis. And then Marc Gasol coming from Toronto. Massive. One of the biggest additions that they had outside of Montrezl Harrell was Marc Gasol. His ability to facilitate the offense outside of the point guard position is absolutely incredible. His passing for a big man cannot be understated. One of the best passing big men I've ever seen, and one of the best ones you'll ever see in your lifetime. On top of the fact that he can stretch the floor and he can shoot the three at a progressive pace. So it'll be very interesting to see what the Lakers can do. I think that they're going to be better than they were last year. It's just going to be, can they stay healthy? LeBron James is not getting any younger. This team needs to stay healthy in order to contend for their championship.
I can't believe that you think that the Golden State Warriors are not even going to be close to making the playoffs. That's unbelievable. I think that even by himself, Steph Curry could do it. Let alone
No.
you have Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, and James Wiseman, who could be a true X factor. We don't expect much for him, but you never know what Steve Kerr could do. I think that the Golden State Warriors keep undervaluing them because they're going to surprise you.
I mean, maybe they will, but I absolutely highly doubt it. The Western Conference is so loaded with talent that the Golden State Warriors just do not have the firepower to keep up with 90% of these teams. They might be able to go after a team like Memphis or even San Antonio or New Orleans, but outside of them, Oklahoma City, Portland, Utah, Minnesota, Denver, these teams are going to absolutely dominate the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry cannot do it by himself. All right, that's going to do it for us on this episode. Definitely thank you guys so much for watching. We truly appreciate it. Make sure to like and comment on this video. Subscribe to the channel. Over 90% of you are not subscribed to the channel. Please hit that subscribe button. It'll help us out a ton. Hit the notification bell to be notified every time we send out a new video. And make sure to stay healthy, stay safe, love yourself, love each other. Take care, and we'll see you next time.